Well, I could eat cevapi probably every day, where it's possible that you don't make a single shot. Yeah. Or it definitely has the potential to grow and become a big, big sport.
Hello everyone, another Poolcast interview, and we are honored to have Albin Ouschan here with us. Albin, welcome.
Hi, nice to be here.
We would just like to talk about Albin the person, not actually Albin the player, even though we do have some questions about your game and practice routines. Can we just start? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but who got you into this game? And can you make a 60 seconds retrospective of your career highlights? How do you see your career?
Well, it pretty much all started with my dad. My dad used to play already when I wasn't even born. Obviously, my sister kind of played already. We had a pool club, one of the very first in Austria. My father was a national champion many times. He also played European Championships. So it was just a matter of time. There are actually pictures where they changed my diapers on the pool table. So it was
meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. It was just a matter of time until I would play with the balls and have my own cue and everything. So I think the first pictures where I was actually like playing was like when I was 3 or something. And when I was 5, 6, I started to play. I had like a small chair I would stand on to even reach the table, and then obviously with 7, 8 I started to play more and more, probably every day 4 or 5 hours, and then went very quick. Actually with 10 I already won my first man tournament in my state. With 11 I won the first European Championships in youth, so it was fast every day. 5, 6 hours playing. We were like a group of people. Obviously my sister was already playing 4 or 5 more years than me. So it was always this rivalry between us a little bit, and but it definitely helped me to get better over the years, and obviously to get into the pro career. She helped me a lot with traveling advices, etc. So yeah, it was many ups and downs, but if I think back, the funny part is my pro career started basically here in Sarajevo, like 13 years ago, when I won the Euro Tour.
Euro Tour.
Yeah.
I was actually there. That was my one and only Euro Tour. Yeah. Playing 2 years. I just came to see, and I remember one moment you were playing Appleton, and it was like 8-1, you missed the ball.
And he said, "I'm human."
Yeah, at least we know.
Yeah, I remember, yeah. It was, the funny part is, like a week ago or maybe 10 days ago, I had a reminder on Facebook that I won this Euro Tour exactly 13 years ago in March.
Yeah, it was March.
And that was basically where my pro career started. With the win here against Dimitri in the final. Yeah. I remember Sanjin with long hair sitting first row. And I have very good memories for Sarajevo, and that's where it started. And obviously the highlight, it's crazy, I don't know. I would say one of the 4 World Championship finals, but it's hard to say which one I had the best feeling with.
Do you have, certainly all those wins are memorable, but do you have one loss that's maybe the most memorable, the one you
Yeah, in World Championships, Poland against Sufi.
Oh yeah.
I didn't play my very, very best game. I was still leading in this game. I felt good. It was quarterfinal, and I think I was up 8-6 or something, and he fluked 4 or 5 balls in a row.
Yeah, we watched
in 4 or 5 games, and he was laughing, and I just couldn't believe, all the people, all the conversations I had afterwards. I mean, you don't really want to talk about it, but that was, because World Championships, it was in February or something, so it was such an early stage of the year, but it's such a big tournament, obviously also for Mosconi Cup and everything. It was incredible because it came out of nowhere. It was a very even match, and then all of a sudden it just turned into his favor like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most devastating loss of my career.
Yeah, I get it. You obviously, I wanted to ask, have you ever wanted to be something else, but I believe there was no option of...
I never did any other sport. I mean, just for hobby, I used to play tennis a lot, 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I just loved the game, but I never tried anything else seriously.
Do you still play tennis?
Definitely less.
Yeah.
I still play a little bit, but yeah, maybe once every 2 weeks. I also try a little bit paddle tennis, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have that much time anymore, like back in the days, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, you obviously take care of yourself. How much time do you devote to working out, and do you have a special diet you follow, or do you...
No. Diet. I mean, of course, sometimes I try some things with diet or whatever, but with workouts I probably do like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
Mostly with my own body weight, because I just don't like lifting things or go into the gym. We have our own little private gym in our pool academy.
Yep.
And that's quite nice, you know. You can train in silence, you know. And so yeah, four times a week, some cardio, running, swimming, biking, pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think there's one type of workout that's most beneficial for players? Do you think cardio could be most helpful?
I would say so. Probably stretching.
Stretching?
Yeah. I felt over the years that all this traveling and sleeping in hotel rooms, you know, hard beds, soft beds, wrong pillows, sitting in economy for 10-12 hours, you know, if you don't stretch enough, maybe some cardio, sooner or later you will reach your limits in the tournament.
Yeah. We also do some in our academy in Novi Sad. We work with our students, and we found that doing cardio and getting used to the high heart rate can help you not panic when heart rate goes up, even when heart rate obviously goes up in the chair more than when you're at the table. Yeah. And when you don't have control. So that's interesting to see what types of workout you all do.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of running. It's quite boring. But I still do it because I think it should be just part of everyone's life, basically, in pool. Obviously, some don't do anything and still perform good, but you still see that you have a little bit of advantage, especially when there's a long day. You're just more clear if you do more cardio, more sport in general. So that's where I think it gives you the benefit in the end of the day.
Does your practice routine change much in the week before a big tournament? Do you do some specifics?
Well, in the past days, weeks, I changed a little bit, or maybe months. I do more drills now because I did a little bit or slight change of my technique. And it's maybe 2 or 3 certain drills with certain balls where I think that's where I have like maybe the lowest percentage right now, or where I just don't feel very comfortable. Obviously, I think pretty much everyone puts a lot of time into the break, because obviously it's such a big shot, and you know, if you can, obviously with this break format, it's a lot of luck involved. You cannot control the outcome very well, but at least you can control the cue ball as good as possible. So I would say break is probably the biggest time I put in, and after that maybe some drills and just play the game a little bit and play with someone.
Do you play all the disciplines when you practice? Do you have a favorite discipline?
I always start with straight pull.
Yeah.
Since I'm probably 8-10 years old. I don't know. This game is so underrated, I believe.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
It has everything, you know. You play long distance, short distance, small space, big space. You got to think ahead, 5-10 balls sometimes. So I think this game has everything what you need for all the other disciplines. And I just love it. I play it every day before I start to practice other disciplines. I play for like 1 hour. Depends if I'm at 200 or something, I keep on playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very, very underrated game.
What's your best score in practice?
Somewhere 300, I don't know, 20 or 50, something like that.
And how often do you get to those 200 plus?
Well, many times.
Yeah.
Probably in the last couple of months, probably 10 times or something.
Oh, that's enough. Do you have one advice you got in your life that stood out, that changed your perspective and helped you to get better?
Well, I can give one advice, which I've probably learned in the past weeks or something. It's never be too proud to ask for help.
That's a good way. That's a good
Because
advice.
for years and years, you know, I was like, I don't want to call myself self-made, you know. Everything I've done in my life, I've did on my own, you know, without just very, very small help, you know, because it just worked out well, you know, and I always said to myself, why should I change that? And like in the past weeks, month, I finally reached a certain stage where I said, I think I just need someone to like maybe look at me while I'm playing, and maybe if he sees something that I'm not seeing, what I might do wrong. And yeah, immediately it turned out better.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's some advice for life, probably pretty much every part of life.
Yeah, it's good advice. Do you want to share who the person is right now?
No, I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah? Okay, cool. We mentioned traveling and the difficulties of adjusting and jet lag and everything. Is there a part of that you like? Do you have places you like going back to?
The fun part is COVID was probably one of the best and worst things in my life, in my career. Because obviously the good part, I was able to spend time with my family and my daughter, and maybe even see a little bit more of my state or country, because obviously there was so much traveling going on. But also on the other hand, I really missed flying.
Yeah.
After like a few months, I was like, man, I really would love to have like a long flight for 10 hours now, just sit in there, watch movies, get some food, and then I don't know, arrive in some other country or continent or whatever. So
some me time.
Yeah, especially so
silence and
because I was home for like 8 months, and before COVID, the last time I was home for 8 months without a tournament was probably when I was 8. So it was a strange feeling, but of course for everyone. So that's where I got into fitness a little bit more, where I just thought about what kind of things in my life could I do better, to perform better. And obviously in the beginning, no one had a goal to practice for.
Yeah.
I was at the academy. I was like, what the hell am I practicing for? I don't even know what's going on. Maybe I'm sitting home for 1.5 years. I don't know.
Yeah, we know when you.
So, but yeah, it worked out well for me. I think I won the first 2 tournaments that I played in, and so everyone used his time different. But country, I'm a big fan of Dubai.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I just like cities where I can see what people are able to build. You know, I'm not a fan of historic cities like Venice or whatever.
Yeah.
So Dubai is very, very impressive to me.
I would believe China and those big Chinese cities also show what man can do.
No, of course, Shanghai is a beautiful city. It's just the culture. You feel like you're on a different planet.
Yeah,
really. No one speaks English.
No
it's always smog or fog or whatever. So that's a different country. I like to be there for a couple of days, see the inner city, downtown. But I'm glad when I'm leaving China after a week.
Yeah, I get it. Do you have some food you particularly like when you travel? Do you?
Well, I could eat cevapi probably every day, like we did the past days.
Yeah,
it's just so good, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, we also have it in Austria, but it's just different, you know.
Yeah,
it's like eating pizza in Italy. You know, it's a different story. But no, I'm pretty much open to everything. I like different types of breakfast. I like the Chinese breakfast. Obviously, they try to eat very healthy all day. But also sometimes I like English breakfast. Probably it's one of the worst.
Yeah.
Also like American breakfast. So it's hard to say. You try so many things over the years, so it's hard to say particularly this one's my favorite.
Yeah, I get it. Let's get back to, do you have a favorite tournament format? Or should I say, how would a perfect tournament format look for you? Short races, long races, how many days?
That's
alternate winter break?
That's the funny part, because we have this kind of conversation so many times. I think the most fair system is with short races and sets.
Okay.
Because in pool, so many times you face where someone makes a 4 or 5 pack or whatever, and it should. I don't know any other sport where it's possible that you don't make a single shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this sport doesn't exist besides pool.
Yeah.
So last year I played US Open, European Open, and Rex tournament. In 3 tournaments, I received 22 runouts out of 28 games in 3 matches against Kopeny, Tyler Steyer, and Mickey Krause.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do in those matches, you know? Like Kopeny started with 8 runouts, raised to 10. I'm sitting in the chair for 40 minutes. I practice before like an hour, then I sit in the chair for 40 minutes. I'm cold. I don't know the table actually. So is this fair? I don't think so.
Okay, I get it.
And it's funny that a player like Gary Wilson, he was here and he said, how do you guys make it? I mean, you practice for 30 minutes, you go to the table, and then you sit in a chair for 30 minutes because your opponent runs a 6-pack or 7-pack or whatever. It's just not fair that you cannot do something. Of course, you can take a timeout and try to get him out of his rhythm or whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think that there is only, of course, I don't think it ever happened at this tour, but if there's just the slightest chance that you might not make a single shot, it's just crazy. I think actually Sanjin made a 9-pack in Hanoi or something last year at Perry Open. So I think it's more fair, like in tennis.
Yep.
You play short races. Of course, I'm not the biggest fan of the shootout thing, but if you play race to 4, 3 sets, I think that would be the most fair system you can have. Then, of course, people come, but sometimes you lose and made more games than the opponent. Yeah, it's like in tennis. I can tell you several matches in Grand Slam finals where the opponent just won in tie-break and the other one beat the other sets 6-1. That's of course,
yeah,
but I think it's better than having a system where you can just not do anything.
Yeah. Do you feel you've done that more than it's been done to you? I would imagine that a player like of your caliber would have.
I was never that player that I never had the best break on the tour, by far not. Of course, I made 4 or 5 packs or whatever, especially back in the days with the one on the spot, which was even more
Unfair.
disturbing and unfair.
Yeah.
Because there, I received an 8 or 9 pack from Capito, and I was like, what is this game about, you know?
Yeah.
It's just not fun to watch. Yeah, maybe the fans enjoy, but if you build a sport on what the fans like, I don't know if that's the right path.
Yeah.
And so yeah, of course I did 4 or 5 packs and over the years, but probably not more than that.
Yeah. Do you have, besides the format, besides the number of games and break, do you have one rule that you would change? Any rule in pool?
Good question. I'd love to see 9-ball call shot,
Oh, okay.
just to try,
Yeah.
because I also think there's, in any other sport, I mean in 9-ball is so much luck involved, you know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just, when you're snookered, you just hit it as hard as you can rail first and hope it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Of course, it helped me over the years to win titles and whatever.
Yeah.
But I would just love to see it. You know, it's not like I want it as a rule for the future. I just love to see it. Of course, some people say there should be a limited number of jumps per match. Because like yesterday, we watched Boy against Loho Sam. And I think they both, till the middle of the match, both did like 8 or 10 jumps, you know. So yeah, it just might be interesting to see if there would be a big difference.
Yeah.
But of course, I also see jump as a skill shot.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's something you can practice.
It is.
And mostly those things like limit jump shots comes from people that are not that good in jumping.
Yeah.
And so it's like saying Shane is not allowed to break this good anymore because he put way more hours in it than every other person on earth complete.
Yeah.
So so of course there are some things you could think about, but there's nothing in particular I would change.
Yeah, we actually do experiment a little bit in our club with the format and some of those rules. We had a tournament with no jumps, and last time we had a tournament where the first shot has to be a save after the break, no matter who's coming to the table. And at the end, both times the best player won. So it didn't make a really big change and didn't help anyone but everyone felt better having a chance in every. I'm not saying that's an actual rule you could implement, but it showed us that people are comfortable having a chance. Just like you said, having at least alternate breaks would give everyone just a little bit more security. And
I think alternate break is definitely something we have to implement into the game. Otherwise, you cannot expect someone to travel 10, 12, 15, 20 hours and then might be just sitting in a chair without making a ball.
Yeah.
It's like last year when Yap played Koping or Koping Chung at the US Open, or 2 years ago, he didn't make a single ball.
Yeah.
Koping Chung run like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, only safeties. And it's tough to swallow something like that and see something like that.
Yeah, I remember reading actually and listening to people talking about when winter break was from the early stages of pool and was the only thing. And the time when Filipinos started coming to America and having matches when they don't have a chances or very few chances was the time when they started thinking about the alternate break. And I never thought it would come back to winter break in big tournaments. So I hope,
because obviously today everything is about social media views and whatever.
It is.
And that's what I'm saying with if you build a sport on what fans like to see, I don't know if this is the right approach to the game. I mean, it was even worse with the one on the spot. It felt like when you almost lost a leg, you're down 3-0. Yeah. So, I mean, what they also tried at like the Euro Tour, they tried like, or even have now, you have 2 breaks, and then your opponent has 2 breaks, and so on and so on. Even in the past, they did with 3 breaks. Of course, you could try, but definitely everything is better than just winner's break.
Yeah, I get it. I do have one last question. If you had to choose, would you rather win 8 majors in 2 years or 15 in the next 20 years? You can have as many second places as you want, but those would be the only trophies.
8 in 2 years or 15 in the next
20? Just whether we'd like to have a legacy of dominance in 2 years or just longevity. And
so basically have the 2 years of Francisco or the 15 years of maybe Ralph.
Yeah, those are the 2 persons we thought about.
That's a good question. I think pool will grow, or definitely has the potential to grow and become a big sport.
Yeah.
I heard rumors that pool might make it to the Olympics.
We all.
I heard rumors that it was never as close as like right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, 20 years. I'm 54. So, yeah, I probably would take longevity over, probably 15 in 20 years.
Yeah. Look, we asked Pius about this, and he also had the same question, because he said winning one major will always keep you high in the rankings, and you can always be there. And,
You will never leave the top 10 or 20.
Yeah, probably.
And look, it's just funny. Like in 2014, I reached the first time the World 9-ball, and since then till 2023, every year I won at least 2, maybe even 3 tournaments. And it's just funny to see that everyone's cheering you up and say, "Wow, you're such a great player," and then for 1 year you don't win the tournament, and everyone's like, "What's going on? He's done. Yeah, he's playing terrible. Blah blah blah." Obviously, no one knows what's going on, in your private life, because pool is such a mental sport. If you're not there 100%, you're done. Sooner or later, you cannot 100% focus on the game. And obviously, there were things in my life that weren't perfect. I had a big change with my technique and everything. And of course, also the game of pool was never that high, and even raised. I think the last 2-3 years in pool was incredible. I think the average level raised by 1 or 2 levels, I believe. So many people came out of nowhere and won tournaments or played incredible. And I mean, of course, Fargo is a big thing, but I think there are not many sports where you could actually, I'm 820 something, Fargo, I could lose because of this game and the rules we play. I could lose to a 700 Fargo. If he has like good 30 minutes where he got some rolls, he's breaking good and whatever, I could definitely lose to him.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy because the rules are like this. I think with alternate break, in the end, the better player wins, probably 80-90%. But you see with this format that many times that the underdogs come through, like in this tournament.
Yeah. Do you think, obviously, number of material on online, number of lessons, number of people talking and sharing their experiences has grown so much that actually helped a lot of players get through those years of development that would usually take 10 years with no one to teach you, and
of course.
just so many young players getting coaching for free, and then being able to progress and then just grind
No, of course. They're also
making.
more hungry now, because obviously the pool tour is growing, prize money is bigger, so the people are hungry to practice more. Obviously, many players have been lazy throughout COVID, and but now there are like, in the last 2 years, probably 20-30 players who had like a breakthrough, and it's crazy to see, and the average level is just impressive right now.
Yeah, it seems so, and it seems growing, and we hope to see a lot more junior tournaments, and we hope to see maybe a juniors ranking, and we'll just see what happens. I just wanted to ask, to go back to one thing you said. I'm sorry. I lost it. I'm sorry. Do you have some other things you would like to talk about? Do you have some news? You mentioned, that's what I want to talk about. You mentioned it twice, changing something in your technique. How does that come about after doing so good?
Well, obviously, for a year now or something, I was not at the level where I was used to be playing. So I was like, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe I changed something without really knowing.
Yeah.
And obviously I had someone coming in, and he watched me and said, yeah, I think you changed this. And we looked back at some matches before that. And but it was also after I won so many things after COVID, I think I was the one who got lazy. Because I was like, I won like, I think from like 21, 22, I won like 7 or 8 tournaments. And I won the PLP, the CLP, World Championship final I lost, US International, some other stuff. So maybe I was too relaxed, or became too relaxed. And but that was the time where everyone was practicing 5 times more, started to practice 5 times more. So I don't know, I was maybe too relaxed or whatever. Then obviously some things in my life went on, or came up. So I don't know what happened. I did something, I figured out, and we're trying to go back to where I was. And it's not something I cannot achieve. So it's just funny to see how people reacting and everything, And it's because they talk like everyone else plays terrible, or is a terrible player. How can I lose to some players? Blah blah blah. But I will definitely come back.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
We hope and we will try to follow as much of these tournaments as we can, and we hope to talk to you again sometime. We wanted to talk to the Austrian team as a team, but we will surely find some other time to talk to everybody all together. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.